A ruthless killer of a secret agency has to go through 7 circles of hell and become the purge of evil in this rotten city full of monsters and bandits. Sit back and listen carefully. Enjoy the movie. At the command post of the military airport in Hong Kong, all was quiet until the appearance and murder by Special Agent Simmons, who came here to destroy with missiles a private plane, where his main target was. Meanwhile, in the USA, in the Secret Service office run by Jason Wynn, he has a dialogue with a strange interlocutor who resembles a kind of monster in silhouette and demands that Wynn finish his plan as soon as possible, so that the unknown finally gets his biological weapon in the form of the best soldier of his agency. Meanwhile, this soldier's wife, Wanda, asks her husband's best friend to detain him until tomorrow afternoon, and when Al Simmons arrives at the car, Terry immediately informs him of his mission incident in which innocent civilians were killed at the airport. Simmons immediately arrives at his boss, who has been chatting with Jessica Priest, who is also their agent, but her attitude towards Simmons was very arrogant. Our best special agent is about to quit after such an incident because the civilians shouldn't have been in the dead, which means it's the boss's fault. But Wynn decides to let him go if he completes one last mission. The North Korean plant is producing biological weapons. He has to go there and destroy the plant, but before he does, he has to get the biochemical viruses, so he agrees. On the spot, he technically gets rid of the soldiers in close combat, but when he finds the guards out of action at the main entrance, he already suspects something is wrong. And so it happened. Wynn planned to blow up an entire chemical plant, and while trying to stop him, Simmons is injured by Jessica, who sprays him with the chemical, and the boss burns his underling alive. Al Simmons is sent through unknown space for his sins, but finds himself on Earth with no memory, where he is met by the main villain Violator, who asked Wynn to provide him with a better soldier. And our Simmons sees that he no longer looks like a man. In the alleys, Cagliostro, a man who beckoned him to join them, became attached to him, but Simmons would not listen to him and through a long journey came to his home. A full 5 years later, his sweetheart was already engaged to his best friend Terry. This sends the soldier into shock and he falls. His wife immediately notices him, and the clown from the party, who can be recognized by his teeth as Violator, takes the fighter with him, and Wanda realizes that the homeless man called her name. Violator in the dark alleys gets rid of the stupid suit and shows Simmons his past, how he went to hell and made Faust's deal with Melbalgia that if Simmons becomes his eternal servant and leader of his army at Armageddon, he can return to Earth to see his bride, Wanda Blake. Violator becomes his companion on Earth, leading him to evil, and when he proves to Simmons at the cemetery that he is dead, our soldier mutates into something new, taking on a devilish appearance. The clown names him Spawn and brings him back to town, while he grabs a pizza with his favorite maggots from the dumpster. And while Spawn is testing his new abilities, Cagliostro appears and tells him that he was a murderer like him, but Simmons leaves, for he is overwhelmed with a desire for revenge. Meanwhile, in Wynn's office, he discovers that he's almost finished working out a new biochemical weapon which he could easily distribute all over the world and which only he has an antidote for, which means that everyone will play by his rules. Spawn was already in the territory of the organization with a new appearance, which allows him to easily take out the guards. He doesn't make it to his office, and Wynn arrives at a banquet where he arranges with his colleagues to fund his weapons. Their conversation is interrupted by a crashing dome from which Spawn appears and is about to finish Wynn off. But his ward Jessica, now called Preacher, injures our villain and he has to hide in the kitchen, where he realizes the advantage of his new armor and goes into battle. Jessica tried to play mean, but the loyalty belt didn't play along and protected Spawn. He then overpowered her and threw her down with a bullet in his forehead. The battle didn't end there. He was getting rid of an influx of new soldiers. However, the grenade launcher still overpowered him, but his new abilities, which he demonstrated, then falling down, grabbing the walls with chains, acquiring new arms to move around the walls, as well as an amazing disguise, now allowing the soldiers to detect him, and of course the magic disappearing in flight and posing, demonstrating his power, surprised our hero more and more. Wynn immediately realizes his loss, but along comes Violator, who convinces him that they will guarantee his life by connecting his heart to a Heath-16 detonator, and if the heart stops there will be an explosion. Win appreciates the idea, and when the clown leaves, the boss promises that he will destroy this lusty piece of lard. Simmons arrives at Wanda's performance and she notices him, but he removes himself and finds Sayama, Wanda's daughter, and is about to take her to her mother. While Viola Tora summons Melbalgia and gives the demon one last chance for Spawn to accomplish his mission and kill Wynn, thereby starting chaos on Earth. Terry arrives to pick up the family for the show and, fearing an attack like Wynn's, takes them home. Meanwhile, Violator is amazed at how much of an idiot Wynn is for putting a bomb in his heart. He comes to Spawn and tells him about his plan for chaos, but when he refuses to cooperate, he plans to kill his dog. Simmons rescues her and our clown transforms into the most horrible creature that Spawn will have to fight, but defeat. The evil clown promises to visit Wanda, but Cagliostro shows up and frees Spawn from the trap and then already trains him to use his new necroplasma armor. And when he goes to his lover he gets into a road scuffle with Violator, who provokes him to take more and more forms of his unique armor. Meanwhile, Terry is about to send the secret data about Heath-16 to the news to get rid of Wynn, but he himself comes to visit with Violator, who is only amused to imagine what kind of battle is about to be fought here for Wynn's heart. When Spawn arrives, Wynn kills his love right in front of him, so Spawn attacks him, but Wynn stops him by telling him about the sensor in his heart that will destroy the world. Spawn isn't stupid and uses his powers to telepathically reach for the sensor and destroy it, and when he gets close, to mourn Wanda, she becomes possessed and sickles Simmons' neck. And it was not her at all, but Violator, who foiled the plan of creating chaos in the world, promises to deal with Wanda, but Cagliostro appears again, and after the clown's wound they are taken together with Spawn straight to Hell, where there is a battle in which they manage to win and manage to destroy a small number of soldiers and escape. But Violator came after them. In the same place the final battle follows, ending with Spawn decapitating the demon with his chains. The Desecrator's head taunts the group and threatens to return before melting away and returning to Hell. Wynn is arrested, and Spawn, realizing that he no longer belongs in Wanda's world, devotes himself to justice. Please support the channel with your likes and subscribe. Our goal is 10,000 subscribers. We are trying very hard just to reduce your time in watching movies. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I won't say goodbye.